guys, Final Death Star here. So Mandalorian, Episode 3 of Season 2, Chapter 11, The Heiress. Okay, well that title alone kind of gives you a hint as to where this episode was headed. I finally feel like we've got some kind of plot going now. This was the first episode that really started to feel like it was driving wherever this season's headed. There were some questions that we kind of got answers to a degree. We introduced some new characters, and we said hello to some old characters. Definitely a fan favorite for sure, and then hints of another fan favorite that a lot of people have been waiting for. Seems to be maybe coming up in next week's episode, so we'll have to see. But I think there's a good bit to talk about and unpack here. So we'll start at the beginning. The timing of this episode, I'm still kind of unclear, because they're in sublight space heading from I forget the name of the planet, the ice planet they were on in episode 2, chapter 10, and they're heading to this fisherman's wharf planet, basically the planet's, which is nice to see an ocean planet, for once. At least I guess since Camino. I don't think we've seen outside of the Clone Wars, because obviously we went to like Mon Calamari, but I don't think we've seen an ocean planet yet in Mandalorian. So I think like Camino was the last time we saw that. So it was nice to see a fisherman type planet. I like the atmosphere, but the travel to get there, I still don't know how long it took them, because they're in sublight space. It should take weeks, months. I mean, we don't know the distance, but even interplanetary travel, I would assume would take a long time, certainly months. But it seems like, they took a little nap. We don't know how much time has passed, but they're stuck in the cockpit because he had to seal it off somehow. Somehow they sealed the glass off after it was totally destroyed from that huge spider from the last episode. But, nonetheless, to just kind of put that critique to the side, I guess, and just go with it, that they're somehow making it here to this planet, and I guess it hasn't taken that long. So, little questions here and there about that kind of stuff, like the traveling time, but otherwise, they get to the planet. A nice little exciting entry, into the planet. They have to like free fall through the atmosphere. They don't have the power. The shields aren't running, so they're basically about to burn up. Kind of reminded me of Revenge of the Sith, when Anakin and Obi-Wan and Palpatine are having to like crash land the cruiser into Coruscant. I believe that was Coruscant. So kind of reminded me of that a little bit, where there's the threat of the whole ship burning up. They make it down, and there's a nice little moment where you think they're going to hover and land safely, and the whole ship tips over and falls in the ocean. You see a Mon Calamari standing there, looking at him, just kind of like, amateurs. So that was a nice little, nice little humorous moment there. I thought it worked. So we're now on this fisherman's planet. It was nice to see the Quarren. There was Quarren and Mon Calamari all kind of mixed together, which we kind of, there was some questions about whether that would happen, whether we'd see them together in this planet, because obviously it makes sense if it's an ocean planet that you would have both of them there. And you did have both of them there. I thought the town looked pretty good. We didn't see a lot of it, but from what we saw of the wharf, looked pretty cool. Nice details there. We got our first glimpse into Sasha Banks' character, which we'll get into a little later, but she's looking all mysterious and cloaking, almost looking like a Jedi, but not. My idea was she was possibly going to be Sabine, which didn't turn out to be exactly true, but I thought she might be Sabine, and she would connect Mando to Ahsoka, but in a way, not so far off, but we'll get into that a little bit. So you see a glimpse of her, don't really know who she is yet, and then you make your way into this cantina, fisherman's cantina, which I like that scene as well. There was a little moment again with the porridge that Baby Yoda is eating, and the little squid thing comes up and suctions onto Baby Yoda's face. Again, very similar to Alien. We keep getting these like Alien references. We got one in the last episode with the spider eggs, and there was the joke that Baby Yoda's going to have some alien bursting out of its chest at some point. But, they didn't do that, but they did do the alien sucking onto the face. Again, even the alien, even the creature, the squid creature, looked similar to the creature's an alien, aliens. So another little callback to that. We keep getting these little callbacks to aliens. I don't know. They're going to try to bridge the gap and connect aliens to the Star Wars universe. But it was a nice little moment. It was, it was funny. I don't know. Baby Yoda's, they've gotten away from the Force using part of Baby Yoda, which is nice because you don't want to see Baby Yoda just always using the Force and getting him out of circumstances and situations. But also it's like, well, what do you do with Baby Yoda then? Because if he's not going to use the Force, we saw him use the Force in such a significant way in season 1. Now he's not using it at all, which is A, good, but B, it's like, well, is he just... is it like he can't really control it? Can he control it? There's issues that arise with Baby Yoda. But overall, I am happy that he's kind of just along for the ride. And he's not like... he's driving the story in that the whole season's revolving around getting him to his people, the Jedi. But he's not driving the story as like a main character that's pushing the every narrative of every episode. He's just kind of there along for the ride, which is good. Overall, I think that's the right choice to make. I still want to see it about Mando, not so much about Baby Yoda. Of course, he's there. I want to see him interact, but I don't want to see him being the driving force. So again, 3 episodes in, and we've still seen him kind of just along for the ride. So I like that aspect of it as well. We find out that the Quarren can take... Well, he hires the Quarren to take him to his people, the Mandalorian coven that's supposed to be on this planet. So we get a nice sequence of him on a ship, which is cool. I like the whole fisherman scene going through the ocean. Again, something we're not used to in Star Wars. It worked. I liked it. I thought the atmosphere was nice of that shot. There was a long shot that kind of, shows the ship over the ocean, and then you slowly zoom in to Mando on the ship, and I like that scene. The whole sequence was pretty good. It got exciting there. You find out that the Quarren are in it for themselves, and they want the Mando's Beskar like everybody else. Either they want his Beskar or they want Baby Yoda. He's being tracked and he's being taken advantage of everywhere he goes for either Beskar or Baby Yoda. So in this instance, they use Baby Yoda to get the Beskar. So they open up this pit in the ship, this little cage that goes down into the water, and you find out that it's like I think they said the mother Quarren or something like that. I guess it's like the queen of the... I don't know. I guess they're... It seemed like a Kraken or something like that was what they were inferring to, that this mother Quarren, was gave birth to all these Quarren that were on the planet, or a significant amount of them. It's kind of unclear, but there's some kind of giant creature, high... Queen Mother that's down in the water, and they knock Baby Yoda into the water with the pod, and this giant creature that looked like a Kraken sort of comes out and swallows Baby Yoda. But right before Baby Yoda knows it's in danger, so I guess it was using the Force there, and closes the hatch like we've seen before, and it gets swallowed up in this creature. So Mando goes diving in after it, and then they close the cage on him, and he can't get out, and he's trying to keep his head above water, and they're trying to basically stab him through the cage. He's in trouble. It looks like it's the end for our poor Mando, but then all of a sudden we see the Mandalorians come out of nowhere. Somehow they knew he was there. Well, I guess because we saw Sasha Banks earlier in the episode watching him, so apparently they were following him and tracking him. And they come and save the day. And we find out that Sasha Banks plays this character named Koska Reeves. You see another male Mandalorian, Axe Woves is his name. And then, of course, we see Katie Sackhoff as Bo-Katan. Now, in the age of the internet, these rumors get out. We know about this stuff ahead of time. If you didn't know about this, or if you don't follow like the online, this is probably pretty shocking and probably exciting, because if you're a fan of Clone Wars or Rebels, both, Bo-Katan's been a featured character in both of the series. She is a favorite of the sort of Mandalore myth. I mean, not the EU Mandalore, it's different, but the more, the now official canon Mandalore. Bo-Katan's a very popular character and a central character, and Katie Sackhoff was great, I thought, as Bo-Katan, and looked perfect. Like the hair, the way they made her look, nailed it. I thought it was spot on for how she looked in the series, in the Clone Wars series and Rebels. So I really liked seeing her as Bo-Katan. So Sasha Banks is not Sabine, but is a Mandalorian, and they save him. And now we find out that the reason he doesn't want to take off the helmet, because that was a question, why isn't he taking off his helmet? This is not, even in the Disney canon, this is not a decree of Mandalore. You know, this isn't something they live by. And you find out Bo-Katan, because he mentions, Mando says, you know, you're not Mandalorian, you would never take off your helmet, and they say, oh, you're one of those. So we find out that there is this like breakaway. Mandalore has a sordid history with offshoots of cultures and ideas. That we saw Death Watch in Clone Wars, and here we have another breakaway. Doesn't really give him a name, but it's this zealot group, I guess, that is trying to restore Mandalore to the ancient ways. So maybe in ancient times they were never allowed to take off their helmet, but you know, as far as we saw in Clone Wars in that period, that was no longer something they practiced. So I guess they're trying to reestablish this ancient way where you don't, you know, this is the way, is some very ancient way where you don't take off your helmet. So we find out that we get a little bit of an answer why Mando's so insistent and why his Coven from season 1 never wanted to take off the helmet, yet we see throughout Clone Wars and Rebels, you know, it's not a big deal. So they gave us an answer to that, which was at least acceptable. It made sense, you know. The way Mandalore's history is, it's very confusing. So it's you know, there's a lot of breakaways and takeovers, hostile takeovers, and wars fought. So it made sense why they did that. So you find out that he doesn't really want to join them. He leaves and with Baby Yoda, but Baby Yoda now no longer has a pod. You see Sasha Banks' character Koska jumps in to the water and destroys the mother. You know, the mother Quarren, and saves Baby Yoda, but there's no more little protective eggshell, so he doesn't have his pod anymore. So now he's more vulnerable. It adds a level of threat to his character to a degree, because now he can't just close his little door anytime he's in trouble, which happens about a scene later. You see them walking through the town again, or the wharf, and they get like jumped by one of the brother of one of the Quarren that was on the ship that the Mandalorians killed, and they want to take him out because, you know, he killed the Quarren brother. But again, to the rescue comes Bo-Katan and, you know, Sasha Banks and the guy Axe, and they land and say, you know, he didn't kill your brother, we did. And then they take him out, they shoot him all down, take him out. Pretty good sequence as well, you know, save his butt again. Mando's getting his butt saved a lot in this episode, but you know, it's Bo-Katan, so it's a fan favorite for the most part. So yeah, I'm okay with that. So you find out that they can give him a direction to go. They can give him information that will lead him to the Jedi to help get Baby Yoda back. But they want something for it, of course. They want him to help them overtake this Imperial shuttle transport ship that's carrying all this weaponry that they want, because she wants to take Mandalore back. Bo-Katan wants to take control of Mandalore again. So they're heading off to the ship, this transport where you've got a lot of stormtroopers. Of course, they make this little offhand comment of like, you know, they can't shoot for you know what. They have very poor aim, which of course, you know, this is a running gag now throughout Star Wars. Ever since after A New Hope, it was pretty much like stormtroopers cannot shoot. That's how it's going to be going forward. So you know, we keep with this bad aim. And we get a good sequence here of an Imperial officer. He's not given a name. He's just a captain, and a bunch of stormtroopers. And they head off to the ship and pretty much overtake the ship. Good action sequences. You know, a lot of corridor, close combat shooting, some hand-to-hand combat, and it was exciting. You know, Mando kind of like hung back though, which he was kind of just hanging back and letting them do most of the work. It is what it is. You know, he did save the day at the end where he runs through getting like blasted by the most heavy firepower, and takes a couple little small grenades and takes out the last remaining troops, and they're able to make it into the cockpit. Meanwhile, you see the captain talking to Moff Gideon. So we finally get Moff Gideon back, and he basically says, you know, if you can't handle this, if they're going to overtake you, you must crash this ship. You have to kill yourselves. So you see the captain shoot both of the pilots, pilots, and then he takes control of the shuttle and is like aiming it down kamikaze style right into the ground to destroy himself, the ship, everything that's in it, because it's better to destroy it than have the enemy take it. So now the race is on for the Mandalorians to get to the cockpit, to save it. And of course, they do get into the cockpit and they are able to pull it out of a free fall. And you've got this interesting moment where Bo-Katan has got one of the knives in her armor up to the throat of the captain and is saying, like, you know what I want, where is he, does he have it, talking about the dark saber. So finally we get the dark saber talk again. It's starting to build from season 1. It's like 2 episodes that were kind of not really going anywhere, just slowly inching along. I mean, you had the Boba Fett moment, which hasn't really gone anywhere yet, but now I finally feel like we're back into, it took a couple episodes to get back into like the groove, and I hope it keeps from here. So he says, I'm never going to tell you, and even if you let me live, he won't let me live, and then slams down his jaw, and I can only assume it's like a cyanide pill, but it's almost like force lightning, and it like electrocutes the inside of his head and I'm sure his brain and kills him. So he kills himself by a cyanide style pill rather than give the information up or be taken alive. So they're left with with not really a direction to go, but they want Mando's help. He says no. He's got a mission. He's got to take Baby Yoda to his people first, and he asks, where's the Jedi? And then Bo-Katan tells him, find Ahsoka Tano. She's on this forest planet, and she'll help you out. So now we've got Ahsoka officially confirmed to be in possibly next episode. I don't know how long, this could be. I don't know how long it's going to take him to get to this planet, but he does have light speed now, because you see at the very end he takes off in hyperspace. So he's got the hyperspace working, and so it shouldn't take him long. I imagine Ahsoka should be in next episode, but we'll see what happens. He could get sidetracked. Things come up in the Mandalorian that always seems to sidetrack him from his main mission. But so that's where the episode ends. So overall, I thought it was strong. Well, the best episode so far. And this was Bryce Dallas Howard, which I thought had the weakest episode directorial. Well, it's not her debut because she had one last season, which I thought was the weakest episode of the season. I wasn't crazy about it. I think it was like 4 or 5 where they go to the village and he's got to like help the little the village out from the pillagers. And I wasn't too crazy about the direction of that episode. But this one, she definitely redeemed herself. I thought she did a very good job directing this. The action sequences were nice. The atmosphere was nice. It wasn't really her, but I wasn't crazy about the music when they were overtaking the shuttle. It had almost like a dance beat, and it wasn't very Star Wars-ish. They had sort of the big orchestral music behind it, which sounded more like Star Wars, but the little dance beat thing, I wasn't crazy about it. Just because it didn't really fit, I don't know. The music has been an issue here and there with people. Overall, I've been pretty in favor of it. I really like the theme. I have since the beginning. I kind of like the Western vibe of it because it sounds enough Star Wars to me, but a little different. But certain things like this little beat, I don't know. It just felt a little out of place, but minor issue there. Overall, strong episode. I'm excited to see Ahsoka. We'll see what happens with her. I rewatched the trailer for the season, like the premiere trailer for the whole season. Most of what we've seen in that trailer, other than a couple shots, we've already seen in the first 3 episodes. There's a shot of the biker scouts that are following him. There's a shot of him like taking off over a cliff with his jetpack. A couple things we haven't seen yet. Most of what is in the trailer we've already seen, so they've kept a lot of this pretty hidden. Ahsoka obviously being one of them. Bo-Katan wasn't in the trailer, but yeah, most of it we've now seen. So it's going to be pretty speculative going forward. We're not going to be able to like use the trailer and say, oh, I think this might be tied into this and this, because we don't know. We've pretty much seen all of it. So anyway, that was the episode, and it was pretty positive. It was more exciting, more focused on the plot. So we'll see where they take it next week. If Ahsoka comes in it, that'd be interesting. If she and we'll see again if Rex is going to appear, because I hope that he's going to be in it. Honestly, he should be with Ahsoka, but I don't know. And there's also the question of Ezra. Sabine's still, there's a still question of where's Sabine. If Sasha Banks isn't playing her, I don't know. Maybe, I'm not sure what they'll do. If they'll actually get the actress that voiced her, I'm not sure. I could see her. She looks like Sabine. I could see her totally pulling it off, which would be really nice. But then it's, why wouldn't they get Ashley Eckstein to play? So it is little things here and there, but we'll see what they do. I'm looking forward to next week more so, I think, than any episode so far this season. It hasn't been that many, but just on the fact that like we are finally getting to a plot that's driving. I'm sure Bo-Katan will be back. We still have to deal with the Darksaber, and it looks like Ahsoka's on the horizon. So let me know what you guys thought of the episode down in the comments below. I do appreciate you watching the video. Give it a thumbs up, and if you have not subscribed already, smash that subscribe button. And until next time, lock the doors and hope they don't have blasters.